Alright, welcome back to the Lua introduction, and in this lecture we're going to talk about functions. Now, you've heard me say the word function before, because we've actually, called some functions of different scripts before. However, now we're actually going to define our own function. And just for demonstration purposes, we're going to create a function that just adds two numbers together. So we're just going to call this, or we're just going to write the function keyword and then the name of the function, which is going to be sum, and then open parentheses, and it's going to immediately generate close parentheses as well. And inside of here, we actually write the parameters. Now, parameters are the things that we've seen already. So let's just put in, let's just let it generate right now. And let's just do the print. So we've seen that print is also a function, and we can pass it in some values, for example, hey, right? And if we do that, then hey gets printed out. And hey in this case is a parameter that the print function uses internally. We don't know how the print function looks in this case, but we know what it does. And in this case, we can do the same thing. So inside of here, we can actually say, okay, what are the parameters of a sum? And we can say num1 and num2, for example. Now, this can have basically as many parameters as we want. In our case right now, 2 is enough because we only want to sum two numbers together. And then what happens? Well, if we, for example, do something like num1 plus num2, that would definitely add them together. But how do we, what is this, sum equals this, or what do we need to do? No, what we need to do is we need to use another keyword, and that is return. So return basically is the keyword that specifies, okay, whatever is written here in this after this return is actually what we're going to return when this function is called, right? So when we use something like, let's say, sum function, and then we're going to do sum, and then we're just going to say, let's say 3 and 10, right? So what we would expect here is to be printed out sum function and then 13, right? Let's just look at this, the case, and yes, it is the case. Sum function 13. That's pretty good. So let's take a look at how this works. So num1 is 3, num2 is 10, because that's what we've specified here with this call. And then it's going to return whatever the addition of those two is, which is exactly 13, which is exactly what we want. This is an example of a function. Now, the great thing about functions as well is something that we can use, and that is functions as variables. And now you might say, that's a little weird. Well, let's just make a local x and make it equal to sum. Okay, that's just the name of the function, but without the parentheses and without any values. And then what we can do is we can actually say x is a function and a variable, question mark. And let's see if that actually works. So we can now call x and put a parentheses in there and say, I don't know, something like 20 and 5. And if that now yields 25, then we know, okay, this sum function actually was called. And of course, that works. So you can put functions into variables as well, and then call these variables. This can be really useful because that also means that you can perhaps pass a function in through a parameter and use it there as well. This can be really useful for all sorts of things that are way, way beyond this video right now and are more complex, but which we're probably going to see, in future lectures. And yeah, but this is a rough overview of functions and how they work, what their functionality is, let's say. And yeah, that was basically it. If there are any questions, or if something was unclear, of course, feel free to ask, and I'll be sure to respond. And if you found anything helpful so far, I would really appreciate a review or a rating. And yeah, that was it for now. And yeah.